John 4:27, it said, "Just then his disciples returned and were surprised to find him talking with a woman. But no one asked, 'What do you want?' or 'Why were you talking with her?'" It was when Jesus was talking with the woman at the well.
Yep.
And my observation may not have been in context, however, my revelation still challenged me when I first read this scripture. It seemed to me that the disciples didn't ask any questions about who or what Jesus was doing, as they knew that this is what Jesus did all the time. Jesus was just being Jesus. He would always stop and love and go out of his way and speak to people he shouldn't and do things that others wouldn't approve of. And my application was, I want to live a life where chasing after Jesus, that I do it so much that people don't need to ask why I do the things that I do. It's because I do it so often that it's just because I love Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be like, oh, why are you doing that? Oh, yeah, because I love Jesus. Oh, okay, cool. Like an occasional thing. I want it to be so regular that it's just part of my being. And I think that's what really challenged me here. And it requires me to make these choices daily. That choosing joy in all situations, forgiving the unforgivable, loving the unlovable, helping others, putting others first, and so much more. I need to live an inconvenient life for Jesus. If I died today, would people say I died and I did nice things sometimes? Or I did it so often that it was a part of me and I lived a life trying to be like Jesus? Living a life for Jesus isn't an occasional thing, it's an everything. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was just...
That's so good.
Just want to be knowing that I lived a life following Jesus all the time, and it wasn't just one-off things here and there that you just do nice things or do those types of things. So,
I love that, because that devotion, like, people are always looking for a deep theological kind of thing. If you start to approach the word from your head.
wow.
No. Hear me on this. I am getting to that part.
Hurry up.
We're always looking for... you can't rush the master. We're always looking at it from a deep theological point of view, because we want to know and understand everything, but not so much so that we can actually apply it, but so that we gather some knowledge that we can enter into a debate. But that is one of the deepest theological things in there to pick up. See, I told you, see?
There you got there.
See, I got there. Yeah. Whew.
Nice save.
Handled. But because I've read that scores of times, but it's never, ever occurred to me like, yeah, why didn't they ask him? Because he's in Samaria, he shouldn't be there. Good Jewish boys don't go there. He's talking to a Samaritan woman. That is definitely out of bounds, and nobody is saying anything about it. It's like, so it's exactly what you said. This has become so much a part of Jesus' practice, where he would rub up against the religious leaders and basically upset them. And he would do things like there's 6 days that he can heal. But for every time, he always do it on the Sabbath. It's like I'm picking a fight, you know. It's like, here it is. Let's do one over here on the Sabbath. But it became such a part of who he was that he was. People knew that about him, which I think is really cool, because you're tying that to the fact, now you're tying it to you. And say, would people see you like that all the time? So let's just take a vote now.
Yeah.
Slide out. No, just kidding.
I don't know if my ego can handle that.
I think you are very consistent. Like, we've been meeting for a few years, but if there's one thing you're consistent about, is like, how do I represent Jesus well all of the time? Not just on Sunday, not just when something's happened, but how do I, and I know Portia is exactly the same with you. You're always thinking about this, like, how does this represent Christ? And so you definitely are on that journey. Talk a bit about the application of it, but like, how do you apply something like that? Like, what's practically does it look like?
Maybe you guys can tell me, because I think it's just having that mindset of, how do I show love, or what does love require of me in every moment, in every situation? Being calm and not reacting, showing love, going out of your way, grabbing that trolley from that person, or just taking time out of your day to talk deeply, or, you know, really just get to know people. I think just being mindful about all my interactions on a regular basis is, and just love regardless. You know, don't hold grudges, just forgive, you know. So, yeah, which is challenging, but that's the mentality that I try and live by.
It's got to come down into everything.
Yeah.
And I know, because I know you were talking to me a little while back about, you know, business stuff and investment stuff and things like that. But always at the core of it is always thinking like, well, how does this how does this work? Will this help me represent Jesus better? Or am I just going after this for money? I don't want to be driven by money. So I commend you for that, because you are a young man and you're just into that sort of phase, and you and Portia are doing incredibly well at trying to do that. And I do believe there are young ones that look to you because they see a consistency, which is what it's all about. It's that consistency. So that revelation would definitely keep leaning you when you drift off to know where true north is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.